everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast. I did go to the movies this week. This week I went to see The Holdovers, which I really wish had come out in December because it is definitely a Christmas movie. It's all very snowy and wintry and actually takes place over Christmas break, where a crotchety old teacher is forced to babysit a troubled student with the help of the boarding school's head cook, because they're all stuck at the school during winter break all alone. And it's very good. It's funny, it's dramatic, it's heartfelt, lessons are learned, but the characters are like crotchety and sassy enough that that helps cut the treacle, so it doesn't get too saccharine and too sweet, and with the lessons and the heartfeltness. So that I appreciated. It still has this bitter undertone that's quite delightful, that I enjoyed a great deal. So I recommend it. It's in limited release right now, but it is, I believe it's opening wide on the 10th. So check it out. As for games, I of course continue to play Spider-Man. I am making progress. I checked a walkthrough. I appear to be at this point now, as I am speaking to you, I am about halfway through the main story missions. So that's good. Because I'm also because I've said in the previous episodes, I'm trying to do a lot of side stuff in between the main story missions in order to stretch it out. I don't want to rush through the story missions and then have to go back to do all the extra stuff. I like to do the extra stuff to break up the story, So I should be about 50% done. One of the things that I recently unlocked was the Mysteriums, where you go into one of Mysterio's... It's not virtual reality because it's like an alternate reality. It's another dimension. It's a whole thing. I don't really know. It's a comic book, whatever. And you have to rescue a citizen who's trapped inside, and you do that by defeating waves of enemies. So it's that arena thing with the waves of enemies that I'm not a big fan of because there's no story point to it, and it's whatever. It's just random fighting, which I'm not a fan of. Although there's a little strategy to it. I've done a few, and one of them you have to defeat 20 enemies, but then suddenly they're all shielded, so you have to go defeat Mysterio to unshield the enemies so you can continue defeating them. And the reason to do them is, depending on how quickly you can complete it, you can get bonuses. The first one I did was a bronze, but the other two that I've done, I got gold on both of those, so yay me. So I guess they're not as hard as they seem, because gold is hard to get. It should be. And I shouldn't be able to pull that off because I'm not as good at the combat as other people would be. But doing those, I'm going to do them because not only do I want to get the completion and the trophy, but I want the hero tokens that you get for finishing this, because you need hero tokens in order to unlock and upgrade your powers and abilities and gadgets. So those are very important pieces that are hard to get. You mostly get them from doing main story missions. So I will be doing the Mysteriums. And I was also nervous because as I was progressing through the story, I had seen people complaining online about the Mary Jane stealth mission. I thought, they brought back the Mary Jane stealth mission. Great. And then sure enough, I got to the Mary Jane stealth mission and I was like, okay, this is a problem. But it wasn't that bad, I didn't think. It felt shorter than the Grand Central thing in the first game. It felt shorter, and you have a weapon so that she's able... It's not typical stealth stuff where if you get caught you have to go back and start again, and that makes it frustrating. Here you have a weapon so you can kind of get out of it if you're quick enough, and it wasn't so bad. And I've also unlocked the symbiote costume, which of course is the Venom symbiote costume is iconic, and it was in the story, but now it's on Peter. So that's a major turning point in the game. And after I finished the mission, I realized I could change costumes, but I was like, it's not like in the first game where I was like, I want to wear the classic costume. Um, and then at the end of the first game, you had the white striped one that I'm not crazy about, but it was a story point, so I wore it for that section of the game. So for here, I feel like I don't want to switch back to the regular costume because he should be in the Venom costume until the story says he's not, at which point I will switch him back to the classic costume. But I have been enjoying some of the additional costumes. One of them is, I think my favorite one is for Miles. I tried, I got the Bodega Cat costume and I got like some others. But there was this one that you get for doing the this museum side quest, and it's this like totally cool retro like Harlem musician outfit. I love it, and he's been wearing that for a while now, even though I know it looks ridiculous. It's not very dramatic, so I worry that the next story mission I need to make sure I switch him back to a regular costume. And then there's this other side quest because I was playing as Miles, like collecting spider bots, and that's another side quest. And I got to this point where I was in Brooklyn, and I said, "Oh, you know what? I still have that one Brooklyn Visions quest left to do. Let me just do that and wrap that up, and get that off my map." And I go to do it, and the student is like, "Spider-Man, can you help me? I want to ask my boyfriend to homecoming, and like all my plans are falling apart and the screens don't work. Can you help me?" So you have to help him get his like video screens working and get the posters up and do all kinds of stuff. And I was like, yes, I will definitely help the gays go to homecoming. This is delightful. And it was very sweet. And I love the fact that like all the homophobic assholes and incels and whatever who hate all this woke bullshit in their games, they have to do this mission. Like you have to help the gays go to homecoming together, or you don't finish the Brooklyn Visions side quest, and you don't get that trophy, and you don't get that 100% completion. You also get a cool costume out of it as well. But that just sort of warmed my heart that all of those awful people would be forced to help these cute boys go to homecoming together. I like that. So like I said, I'm about like halfway through, so I think I've hopefully got another couple of weeks left, because I have been taking my time, doing side things, swinging around the city, looking for extra stuff, and also photo ops. Not the in-game photo ops that are part of the side quest, but just cool places to take pictures of Spider-Man, because it's just cool. And I love my virtual photography. So I've probably got another couple of weeks left in this, but I've already begun thinking about buying another game, because this week I also I learned that Disney Dreamlight Valley is no longer going to be free to play. It came out I think it was last November. I think it's been like a year that it's been in early access, and you can buy the early access version and play it and like beta test it for them, and then it was going to be free to play. And I was like, well, I'll just wait for it to be free to play. Because I don't feel like I should have to pay them to help them test their game, but whatever. But now it's not going to be free to play. So I'm like, oh. And I think it's to like, avoid having to do so much microtransactions and stuff. Because the thing is like, if it's going to be free to play, I want to see if it's really free to play. Because a lot of these free to play games, they're not a whole lot of fun unless you spend real money on it. So they're not really free to play. But here I was like, maybe it'll be okay. But now it's not going to be free to play. So I'm like, okay, so there will be plenty of content and fun to be had since you're already spending money on the base game. So they're not going to try to nickel and dime you later on to make you actually have fun. And my first thought was, well, do I get it on the PS5 or the Switch? Because I don't have a PC or Xbox. And I was leaning towards the PS5 just because better graphics and faster loading times. I'd read some stuff, I Googled around, and some people were complaining about the Switch version crashing all the time, but I'm like, they probably patched that by now. It's been a year. But the only advantage to the Switch version because it wouldn't have pretty graphics and it would have longer loading times. The only advantage would be portability, but as I have said repeatedly in these episodes, I don't play my Switch portably that much anymore because I'm not commuting anymore. So I think I'm going to get the PS5 version. And then the question becomes, do I buy the Founders version now or do I wait for it to launch on December 5th? And when I was looking at the different versions, because there's the base game and then there's the gold version and the deluxe version and whatever, right now the base game is $30. And then I'm only getting the base game. I'm not spending like $70 on some extra decorations and clothing and whatever. That's not important to me. I just want the base game because I don't even know if I'm going to like it, so I don't want to be spending a lot of money on it. So the base game right now is $30 for the Founders Edition Early Access version that you can still buy up until December 5th. And then on December 5th, there's the launch version, and there's like different editions as well. There's the base version, and there's the cozy edition, which is the physical copy that comes with extra stuff. Then there's like the deluxe version that comes with everything and the DLC that's going to come out later. But the thing is that the base version of the launch game in December, it doesn't come with any extra stuff. It just comes with the game and like 8,000 moonstones, which is the in-game currency that you use to buy the stuff. That you can use real money to get more moonstones, which I'm not going to try to do. So I'm like, wait. So, and also the base game at launch costs $40. So I'm like, wait, so I think my choice is basically, when I was looking at the details of the different versions to see which has better stuff, I was like, well, the Founders Edition gives you some free stuff, like clothes and decorations and stuff, and the launch version gives you nothing. And the Founders version is $30, and the launch version is $40. And I'm like, why am I going to pay an extra $10 to get less stuff? That makes no sense to me whatsoever. So, yeah, I'm probably going to get the early access version. The only question is when, because do I wait until I finish Spider-Man or do I get it now? Because it's like Animal Crossing where you're not going to sit down and play it for 3 hours. You're going to sit down and play it for 20 minutes and then go play something else. Like I play Animal Crossing for 20 minutes, then I go play Spider-Man for an hour. So I feel like I could play Disney Dreamlight Valley at the same time as Spider-Man or whatever I'm going to play next. Because you're just going to play it for a little bit each day. So I do feel like you're probably going to come back for the next episode, and I'm probably going to have some first thoughts on Disney Dreamlight Valley. I'm just guessing. I'm just predicting the future here. Come back and find out. Bye.